first step is to come up with a plan. I have a good idea how I'm going to do this. Being a hoarder I am, this is a piece of really scrap channel iron that came with the sawmill when we bought it. It was laying out in a big pile of stuff, and I said, I'll use this for something someday. Well, that day came. Also, I went up to the metal supermarket. I did spend $46 on this. This is 1.5 inch by 1.5 inch solid bar stock. So this is going to be the part that's going to go into the little pocket on that log splitter ram, and I'm going to cut this plate down to length. Underneath, we're going to channel out an area for this to go under it. This will be the top surface, and that's where that little truck crane will mount. So we're going to go ahead and get this laid out, and I just use basically nothing more than a square and some soapstone, and we will get I got that clamped down already. We will get this laid out as far as the length. I've got a rough idea what I want, and once I get it laid out, we're going to notch out 1.5 inch pocket. So we're going to notch out an area right there to run that bar stock in, clean this all up, weld it all together, and then we have to go to Harbor Freight has a good truck crane. I call it very reasonably priced. It's under $200. It has a hand crank on it. It'll pick up to 1,000 pounds. So them wedges are maybe the heaviest, that box wedge, it might be 200 pounds. So it's better than trying to physically lift them or getting a machine in there with a fork and a strap. Eventually things happen and someone gets hurt. So this way here, we'll have total control on it. We'll be able to swing it precisely into place. And I'm kind of looking forward to getting this fixed up. And we might use more of a variety of wedges than we do now, because right now we just sort of like it. Such a nuisance to get a machine over there to change it out. We just sort of just go with what we have. So this is going to be a big help. So I'll get this laid out and we'll get cutting on it here in a minute. Well, after probably a good 45 minutes of grinding and cutting and this and that, we got a pretty good fit up. This is pitted pretty deep, but it'll still be, it's very strong. For what I'm going to use this for, it's going to be fine. So I put a mark up on the, when I was up there with the splitter, I had checked out the location where it needs to be. So basically, got a pretty snug fit actually. And I'm going to put a piece of the scrap behind it because we want the same height. So when we eyeball that up, we want to make sure when this comes out of the splitter that this thing isn't tipped forward or backwards. And we'll go ahead and check it for square. Not looking bad. There's nothing bent. So what I'm going to do is we're just going to put a tack weld on it, and then we're going to go back up to Uncle Edmund's, and we're going to go ahead and check the fit, because it's easier to take a tack weld off now than to go back later on. So we'll just put a couple tacks on it for you and show you the concept of this whole thing. And I'm just using a MIG welder with 030 gauge wire, and I'm using the 2575 gas in this. So it's not a flux core, so it's a gas weld. So we're just going to tack opposite corners. And I got my, oh, there it goes. Everything looks like it's staying nice and tight. That'll be good to take it up there and test it. So I guess we're going to go take a ride and just give you an idea what this thing, what it looks like. So this will go into the ram or the log splitter, and don't really need a locking pin on it, because once this goes in, it's not going to really be able to move. And then that little pickup truck crane will bolt to here, and it'll stay stationary. And then the arm of the crane is removable, so it won't weigh very much. And it's just better than getting in there with a machine every time. And I'm going to probably do something on the front edge of this where the ram is, to sort of keep this thing from trying to twist down. So before I get too crazy with welding here, let's go up there and check the fit, and we'll go from there. Well, we're up at Uncle Edmund's, and you can see the method of the madness here. So this just goes into this pocket that is used for the drag back arm on the 7-way box wedge. Now the reason I wanted this extra little piece here, and I'll show you why, that box tubing is a little bit bigger, probably about 1 5/8 versus 1.5 inches. So what I want to do is put this guy in place. So this will take out, once it's welded, it should take out a lot of that stress. And I think that's going to be a good move. And I might just run it all to the bottom, because there'll be nothing up here. So if you can imagine, after I clamp this, and I'm not good at working with gloves on, so I'm taking the gloves off. So anyhow, I figured if I got a good clamp on it, then I can tack it when I get it down the house. And I'm also going to mark it right now too, because if I don't, and that clamp lets loose, that's a wasted trip up here. So anyhow, and we got the first snow of the season today, and it's it's a raw day. The good news is we can probably split most of the time up here when it's too cold to saw. This splitter will fire up, I'm sure, a lot easier. So I'm going to just keep tweaking this in. And I'm also planning on doing is either padding that with some washers or a piece of flat stock, just to take out some of that play. And I think I can get this thing so it don't hardly rock at all. But once we get this mount on here and you get the crane up there, it's going to tweak it to one side. So I'm going to just see if I get this to slide over a little bit more. This is when an extra set of hands would be nice. But you can't always have extra help. Oh yeah, that took pretty much all the play out of that. I think between that and the washers, and I'm just going to use a piece of this soapstone again. And I'd like to make a little witness mark back there. And I think we're in good shape there. So, well, now that it fits, and it should slide out fairly easy. Yeah, we don't want to get it too tight, but we don't want it so loose. That's just a nice fit. As long as it don't move during welding, that's going to be the solution to that problem as far as it rocking. So let's take it back down to shop. Let's weld this thing up, and then we're going to take a trip to Harbor Freight, and we're going to pick up that crane, And then we're gonna bolt it on there, give this thing a good test, and maybe put an epic paint job on this. So let's get it done. Well, there we go. There's our epic paint job. And here's our Harbor Freight pickup truck crane. And there you go. And out the door with tax and everything, this was like $205. I think it's worth every penny as far as saving your back and possibly getting hurt lifting them wedges in and out by hand, or a machine with the strap and then something falls off. So right where that boom's pinned right now, the thing will lift up 700 pounds. Them wedges, or I doubt if any of them are pushing 200 pounds. So the safety factor is there. So now this is the actual pole that's going to mount to that bracket that I built. So we're going to get some holes laid out here. We got 4 bolt holes to go through, and this will be the part that goes into the splitter, and then that will sit on top of that, and that will sit on top of that. So you basically, that removes very easily, it just sits on there. So that don't have to be part of the whole equation when you're loading it onto the splitter, and then you just basically put that boom on there and crank your cable down, hook on, and away you go. So we're gonna get some holes drilled here, and we're going to do the ultimate thing. We're going to go up and test this thing out. Well, it's the moment of truth, everybody. You can design, engineer all you want. Bottom line, will it pick that wedge up and swing it onto the ground?
What do you think?
You put it in the comments. Now, we're going to be gambling here. So, brought ZZ up here, and it's totally toolless. So this part here, basically just going to go into that pullback arm slot, and I got a magnet on my microphone that just pulls off. It's metal.
Wow, it sure does.
Yeah,
Pulled right off.
there we go. And it's very safe where ZZ's at. So, you know, I know everybody's going to say he should be tied off in a harness.
Wow.
No, tied off in a harness. Just make it fun. And remember when we come up here to put this piece of angle iron on here, and it took all that torque.
There's no play in it, hardly any play at all.
Yeah,
Forward,
it's
backwards.
unbelievable. So here's the business end, and here's where it's, you still need 2 people. Just that simple. Now this Harbor Freight crane, actually the hook fits the eyelet.
How about that?
And here's a little bit of advice. We came up here, I shook the wedge, and I'm thinking it was frozen.
It was. It really
So
was.
fire up your hydraulics, and also you get a lot of stuff that falls down in there and kind of jams these up. So run the wedge up and down, which we have already done. And now we're going to go ahead and see if this hoists this up out of the slot here. It's just a hand crank, no major science. And look, I'm picking it up with one hand. One hand I can pick it up. Okay. Now, we're just going to swing it gently out of the way. And ZZ is going to reposition here. We're going to set this on the ground. I imagine you could put a little electric winch up there and have just a remote. That might be an idea too. But right now the hand crank seems to be working very well.
Yeah, and it's not a ton of force that I'm using.
And I'm going to make a cradle for down here to hold all the wedges so they stand straight up. All right, now let's just pretend which we're not going to do right now. Okay, now we're going to switch over to a different wedge. Okay, you get the idea. So let's reinstall it. I like to see with the electric winch with just a little button. And don't ever stand under it. Just walk off to the side and guide it into place. Alrighty. Commence the lowering.
Really?
It jam up on you? There you go.
Did not want to release.
Yeah, maybe we're gonna find a.
Must have been in the non-sweet spot.
Maybe we're gonna find a little cheap winch. Go ahead. There you go. And again, I'm picking it up with one arm. And now that we're under a roof, it just makes it very hard to get the skid steer into place. You'd have to move the bucking table. You take a good chance of smacking the tubing. So I figured
Look at that.
necessity is the mother of all inventions. And go put a little tension on that. There we go. And then we're going to do it the opposite way. So I'm going to pick it back up off of there.
Coming to you. Ready?
Yep.
All yours, sir.
All right. And this part comes out with no tools.
I always want to pull up on that for some reason.
Yeah. We don't want that. I'm just trying to
Slides right out.
get a good position on it. And that's it. So, if you own a Eastonmade log splitter, give it a try. I'm not recommending to do this. I'm not an engineer, but in all practical sense, it works great.
Very simple.
Yeah, toolless, simple. This ram, you're not moving it. You're not going to ruin nothing on a splitter. And for say $250, I got into it roughly, and it just saves a lot of trouble. So you can switch wedges out pretty quickly. You're going to usually be splitting with two people anyway. But electric wedge, you could
theoretically hit a button.
actually
Have a remote control.
and do it that way. So, well, that concludes our video of the wedge.
What do you want to call it? Wedge lift.
The wedge lift.
The wedge lift.
I like it.
I do
So,
too.
if you like the video, do me a favor, give it a thumbs up. And if you like this sort of content, I'll keep more of this content coming. I do have some work on the mill I'm going to be doing. I got to replace the ways and my number 2 dogs on the actual knee. The thing is getting too sloppy, and it's almost getting dangerous. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to swap out number 4 and move it to number 2, and then I can take that whole assembly down the shop, and we will get together and we'll work on that and we'll get it fixed. So
Nice.
and other than that, we'll catch you on the next one, and I'm not sure what we'll be doing, but we'll be doing something.
Yes, we will.
Thanks again.
Bye-bye.